Hi, welcome to the third episode of The Aerial Outsider. I'm your host, Kyle, and this is a podcast where we go over drones, NASCAR, football, and basketball. And this episode is brought to you by Netzelair Drone Services LLC, a locally owned, Omaha-based drone service to help people look at roofs, do construction monitoring, small events, and much more. All right. So the third episode is going to focus mainly on the Xfinity Series race that happened, now yesterday, since it is early Sunday morning. So kind of on a review, I did catch the highlights of the Xfinity race, but the Xfinity race saw Connor Zilisch win his sixth Xfinity race this season, which is more than anybody else in the history of NASCAR as of recently. He is a very talented race car driver. Connor Zilisch, Junior Motorsports and Trackhouse Racing made an excellent pick for that 88 car. He is moving on, obviously, to Trackhouse Racing for the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season. But yes, he won this race a year ago as a rookie after not seeing this racetrack in basically Watkins, Glen, when he first started, which is an accomplishment within itself. So going back through the race, he basically dominated. There's no other way to explain it. Very good battles between him and Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG. SVG, another great road course racer, also Trackhouse teammates for next year. But going wide into turn 7, I do believe. Going wide, Connor Zilisch chose to go wide instead of runoff. You can do that. NASCAR doesn't govern that. And then when he tried to fade back into the track, he clipped SVG into the in the right rear corner of his car, which caused him to go sliding. And as they were coming around the final turn, heading towards the start-finish line, SVG hit the wall, ending his day, unfortunately. But I mean, is what it is. It's a racing incident. These spotters on the track do not see that area of the track very well, so I can see where it is kind of a blind spot. I can see where SVG is kind of down just because he thought he was giving him enough room, but they make up, they talk, they move on. So, very good job to Connor Zilisch, but very thoughts and prayers go out to him as well, because after the race, when he was doing his celebration in victory lane, he put one foot up on the roof, one foot on the window of the car, and he ended up slipping and falling, and he ended up breaking his collarbone. So hopefully he recovers. Hopefully. All thoughts and prayers go out to him as a speedy recovery. I don't know what that's going to do now for the rest of the season. Is he going to be out for the rest of the season? He does have a 6-point lead over his Junior Motorsports teammate, Justin Allgaier, in the 7 car. But, that's probably going to change. He won't get the regular season championship in the Xfinity Series, obviously, because if he's out for that long, at least another 3 weeks, then that's obviously going to change. Trackhouse did remove his entry for the Watkins Glen Cup race today, just because he's probably not going to be. He's obviously recovering from the collarbone, or the broken collarbone. So obviously, they removed that entry, so he's not going to be running the Cup race here today, which is unfortunate, but obviously speedy recovery to Connor Zilic. And then moving on to the Cup race, SVG, his teammate that Zilic took out, he will be in the Cup race, but that will probably be dominated by him. So moving on, I guess another incident, we got to talk about Austin Hill. Austin Hill, he got suspended one race at Iowa by NASCAR for right hooking Eric Almirola into the wall at Indianapolis. He right hooked another guy today, causing a major crash at near the end of the race, and NASCAR views it as a racing incident. So did the announcers, but a lot of the other guys that I've been seeing don't view it as a racing incident. It's clear that he right hooked somebody into the wall, or hooked another driver into the wall, because on a road course it's not really right hooking. He clipped the left rear of another driver into the wall. I think it was Taylor Gray at that point. And he went wide. He's like, oh, there's a barrier there. So he had to get back into the track. But he ended up clipping another car. He got by. The other car caused a multi-car pileup. So, but I don't think, since NASCAR is looking at this as a racing incident, I don't think they will suspend Austin Hill again. But that remains to be seen here later this week, around Tuesday or Wednesday. But we'll see, I guess. You just don't right hook or hook anybody into a wall during a NASCAR race. That is totally uncalled for. However, Austin Hill was not wearing white gloves like he was in Indy. So that's another thing that probably benefits him, since you can't see what they're doing with the wheel if they're not wearing white gloves. So that is another issue that will hopefully be resolved by midweek. We'll see. And then the race was a pretty good overall race, to be honest. Lots of good racing from the highlights. I like watching the road courses just because you can see who's all the good, who's all running up front in the mix of things. So I think it was a pretty good overall race. But yeah, like I said, Connor Zilic, prayers and thoughts go out to him. Hopefully he gets on a speedy recovery schedule. I really hope that he recovers, because obviously in the future he's going to be one of the stars here in the NASCAR Cup Series. And then also the Austin Hill incident. I don't want to see Austin Hill right hook somebody, but it is what it is. He's never going to change. He's always done this before as a driver. But the good thing is that since NASCAR suspended him and he had that one race suspension, he does have a waiver for the playoffs again. But the key is he will not have any bonus points or anything. So his road to the championship is much, much harder. So we will see how the points play out for the Xfinity series here in the next few weeks, just like the Cup Series and the Truck Series. And we will see how everything plays. And then obviously the Cup races today. So drivers to watch, obviously SVG. And then you have the regulars like Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, maybe Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, and then Alex Bowman. He'd be one to watch, especially since he is 15th on the points standings. So he's 63 points ahead of the cut line, so trying to follow him during the race, that would be a good thing to watch, because things could heat up here in the next 3 races before the chase starts. So just my thoughts here, Cohen, as I watched the highlights of the Xfinity race, but wanted to hop on, kind of give that short little spiel. As far as drones, I'll try to upload more drone content here coming up this week. I'll put some more drone content out. I know I've been talking about NASCAR a lot here, but because of the races here this weekend, since every weekend is kind of a race, I think the drone stuff will come. And then obviously football and basketball will start up here in the winter time. So we'll cover more of that, but football's in its preseason. So, obviously preseason games are kind of there. I mean, they're coming along, but obviously for preseason, a lot of the bench warmers are out there, so you don't really get a good read about how good of a team is until maybe week 1, but because all the starters are going to be out for the first drive and the second drive and however many possessions you do have during that game, but I will tell you this, week 1 hopefully will be an exciting week. Obviously, basketball, when that starts up, that will be an exciting time. I know the Celtics escaped the second apron for that, so it will be remaining to see how all the basketball teams start putting together rosters for that first week of the NBA season. So hopefully I'm getting better at this. I might add a few intro music slots here to the podcast if I can figure it out. Right now I'm still recording on my phone. But what I might do is try to upgrade to better equipment here soon so that I can deliver the best podcast out there, between the drone community and the sports community, trying to have a podcast for both, be in that area. And I hope you guys all have a great Sunday. Thank you for listening. Go like me on Facebook, Aerial Outsider on Facebook. I do have a Facebook page out there, so go look me up, be a fan, and I'll put as much content out there as I can, and most interesting content. Thanks, and have a great Sunday.